This is a story about Nikon. This is my story. My journey in love for Nikon starts off a little different than most. See, I was given an option at 14 years old as I was about to attend my first day of high school as a freshman, enrolling into photography class 101, Canon AE1 or Nikon F3. I held both in my hands and I chose the Nikon F3. It felt better in my hands. Not only better, yet it looks so much cooler and meaner with its sharp defined edges and that big Nikon logo in front. I felt cool. I felt powerful. You see, I grew up in a photography household and the love was instilled in me by my father. Him being a professional most all his life, I've always had photography and cameras around me at a very young age. That's where the option to take the Canon or the Nikon to school came from. The moment I developed my first roll of black and white film shot with my F3 and seeing the images in the darkroom come to life as they swam in the chemicals in plastic trays, I automatically knew this was something special and I wanted to learn more and dive deeper. Now after that, I took photography more seriously as the years went on, experimenting with film cameras, medium format. Let's fast forward 14 years into digital photography. My first Nikon digital camera was the Nikon D2H. Yes, a 4 megapixel pro body camera. After that, the D200, D70S, D300, D2X, D2XS, and then it happened. The D3 moment. In 2007, I purchased my very first full-frame digital camera, the Nikon D3. That camera was revolutionary. It gave us photographers the ability to shoot in low light conditions like we never had before. The files look great, the colors, the feel of the camera, the sound of that shutter working at 12 megapixels, and the ability to shoot at a very fast 9 frames per second. It was unheard of at the time. The camera felt solid, a pro body, beautiful screen. I was proud. I was happy. I was confident. I love this camera so much, I sold off all my DX bodies and I bought a second D3. And I knew the Nikon D3 was the camera for me. Later on that year, late 2008, the Nikon D3X was announced at a whopping $8,000. I knew I wanted one, but the opportunity was not there for me at the time. It's funny because I will revisit the D3X much later in my journey, which I will get to a little later in this video. Fast forward to 2012. I'm attending a WPPI class. Guest speaker, Mr. Cliff Mountner. I saw the images coming from his pre-production Nikon D4 and D800. I knew I had to upgrade. A few months later, I did just that, purchasing a brand new Nikon D4 and Nikon D800. This combination was my main workhorse for 8 years. The Nikon D800 was another revolutionary moment, introducing a high megapixel option DSLR full frame in the Nikon lineup. I photographed almost everything under the sun with this camera combination. They've been everywhere with me, seen action like you wouldn't believe, battle scars to show for it, blood, sweat, and tears. I've dropped them, had them kicked. I've mounted almost every modern Nikon lens on them. 120-degree desert heat, pouring rain, lakes, oceans, mountains, witnessing amazing events, loud music on stage from wedding band music to heavy metal rock shows. I've dropped my D4 on concrete, had saltwater splashes all over the body. So some years later and a million clicks between those two bodies, I purchased a Nikon D850. Although my time with the D850 was short-lived due to a few mistakes I made handling the camera, the D850 to most is considered the best Nikon DSLR ever produced. So in 2018, I am introduced to the Z-mount. What is a Z-mount, I asked. Mirrorless? "What is that?" I asked a fellow local photographer. It took me 12 months to incorporate the Z6, yes, the Z6 into my camera bag. In 2019, I took the plunge and I purchased one. With the FTZ adapter, I would mount my older f-mount lenses and go at it. I loved it so much I bought a second body, all the while using my D4 and D800 at the same time, not fully committed into mirrorless system for photography just yet. In June of 2020, I launched, I recorded, and I uploaded my first Vahagraphy YouTube video using the Nikon Z6, and at the same time building up my Z-mount lenses. Getting used to the EVF versus OVF took a bit of time. I flirted with a Z50 for a few months as well. And then in late 2021, I pre-ordered my next flagship Nikon, the Nikon Z9. In February of 2022, the camera arrived. It changed my photography life. The Z9 was the camera. The Z9 could do almost everything I wanted: a pro body mirrorless with no shutter mechanism, amazing low light, 20 frames per second full raw, no blackout, 120 frames per second JPEG, 45 megapixel, my first high megapixel pro body dream mirrorless camera, an amazing EVF, video features like out of this world, 4K, 8K, with the new firmware 2.0 makes the Z9 that much better. You see, I've owned almost every modern Nikon camera ever produced, and this new Z9 was it, the new king in town. You see, my love for Nikon goes far beyond the magnificent camera bodies. It's the lenses. Nikon has a rich history of lens making, and it shows. Yes, I do own many Nikon F and now Z lenses in 2022. From the most modern Z50 1.2 lens to the Nikon 600mm FL monster. In a nutshell, this is Nikon. This is Vahagn's Nikon journey. And now, the present, 2022, I continue to unlock the many features and benefits of the Nikon Z9 and enjoying every minute doing so. Now, I'm a photographer that has owned and tried many brands of cameras over the years. Some reasons mentioned in this video, I come back to Nikon, the brand of camera I chose as a 14-year-old freshman walking into my first photo class back in high school. Nikon is that special to me. Nikon, Nikon, however you pronounce it in your country, this company has shined through for me, and I want to say thank you. In March or April of this year, 2022, I welcomed the Nikon D3X to the family. Remember what I said about the D3X in the beginning of this video? Always wanted one, but never had the opportunity to get one. Well, I finally did. Although the modern Z9 is far superior than the old king back in late 2008, the D3X holds its own even in present time. Simply amazing. So this is me, this is my Nikon journey, and I look forward to many more years, many more adventures moving forward, God willing, with Nikon. Before I close, I just want to say I've come a very long way. From a confused 14-year-old freshman in school using a Nikon F3 for the very first time till today, Nikon USA reaching out to me, yes, me, sending me gear to use and check out for my channel Vahagraphy. Who would have guessed that, right? This is a story, a Nikon story, my Nikon story. Thank you. Hey, what's good guys? Vahagn here from Vahagraphy. If you like more rockin' videos like this one, go ahead and check the videos on the screen and subscribe to this channel, Vahagraphy. Rock and roll.